Welcome to the Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you economic equity for everyone, every day with your host, Debra Gould. Yes, I am Debra Washington Gould, President and CEO of Debra Gould and Associates, Inc. DGAI is a New Orleans-based management consulting and performance management business founded in 1996. Please visit my website at www.gouldassociates.com to learn more about my professional service offerings in management consulting, training, facilitating, executive coaching, and business motivational keynotes. Please check out my website, www.gouldassociates.com. So let me introduce you to the Hustle Skirt podcast. If this is the first time for you because you know about this extraordinary woman in our business community, ILSI Engineering. And in a moment, I will be officially sharing her credentials. But the mission of the Hustle Skirt podcast is to promote, communicate, and amplify the influence of men and women entrepreneurs for profit businesses. Yes, I will have C-suite and higher executive with corporations and nonprofit organizations to join the Hustle Skirt in the future. But for right now, today, we are going to meet and greet my guest today. Iam Tucker. Let me say this about my guests. The Hustle Skirt podcast will be an opportunity for my interviewing guests, like I am, to connect with and market their services to the listening audience of this podcast. So with that being said, y'all need to understand right now, without a doubt, Iam Tucker and Debra Gould and Associate, this owner and president and CEO of ILSI Engineering, we did not live this long, y'all, to be put on the back shelf. So y'all got to get ready for this interview right now. So it gives me great pleasure. First, let me say, welcome, Iam, to the Hustle Skirt podcast. So as I take this moment to introduce my audience to you, madam, we're going to have some fun. Have a couple of questions, but let's do this.
Let's do this.
Iam Tucker joined the company from Integrated Logistical Support Incorporated, ILSI Engineering, a 100% minority female-owned small business, where over the past 15 years, she is president and CEO. She has steadily grown her family business in employees and revenues. I am business initiative. And let me say this first, if I can press rewind. I am graduated from the University of New Orleans, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Education Program, and Dartmouth's Tucker School of Business Executive Education Program, among others. I did that same program back in 2006, and it is excellent. Would you say and agree to that? I am. It was an excellent
Absolutely agree. It was phenomenal. It
Yeah,
really was. It was
that's a
phenomenal.
good word, phenomenal.
It was.
Now, previously, Iam was a police officer with the Baton Rouge Police Department, and she serves on numerous boards and commissions within the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. Her company continues to provide value-added solutions to federal, state, and local public and private sector clients all over the nation and select locales in South America. This is a busy lady, y'all. Iam's most audacious goal, personally and professionally, is to be a beacon and torchbearer of the change that she wishes to do in the world towards greater equity and parity for disadvantaged communities. Thank you for being that type of advocate to speak power into the communities that you serve and you live and you play. I am.
And you as well.
So once again, before I formally welcome you, I want to share your contact information for ILSI Engineering. The telephone number is area code 504-909-9403. The website, ilsiengineering.com. And if you want to reach out to Iam Tucker, her email address, iamtucker@ilsiengineering.com. With that being said, Madam, I want you to take an opportunity as we engage in this conversation to share your contact information before we close out today.
Okay.
So let's do this, Iam.
All right, let's go, my friend.
My first question to you, what qualities do you think every entrepreneur should possess?
I think the qualities that every entrepreneur should possess, whether you're just getting started out or you're 15 years in or 50 years in, resiliency. Got to be resilient. Got to be ready to be told no a million times and try to navigate the no's to find a yes, right? I know, we get told no a whole lot, whether it's in the federal arena, whether it's in the fight for policy, no matter what it is. But we figured out, entrepreneurs and business owners, I'm not one to wring my hands and have to worry about something and, I don't know what's going on, and have to fret about the problem over and over again. I can't do that. I gotta switch into solution mode. How can I fix this? What can we do right now? What's the short-term fix? What's the long-term fix, So you got to be able to be resilient, got to be quick thinking on your feet. And you have to have, as Obama says, the audacity to hope, right? And you got to have that ability and that understand it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be human. But you got to know there's a time and a place to shine. There's a time and a place to be humble. And there's a time and a place to fight. And I think that understanding when to navigate and when to be in those different spaces is what it's all about.
Absolutely. And for all the years we have known each other as friends, the work we do in the business community in the greater New Orleans area, and just as entrepreneurs, you chose a great word, resiliency. But all the years I have known you, you are truly the fixer. When you put your mind to problem solving, you are the fixer. I am. And I admire that about you, that stick-to-itness.
Thank you,
my next question I would like to ask you is, what is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur?
The hardest part is, I always say, when you're the owner and you're the president and you're in our kind of game with government contracting and all this, a lot of people get to leave, and when they turn the light off at the end of the day, or they don't even have to be the person to turn the light off at the end of the day, and they leave, they get to leave that stuff at work. They get to leave whatever that is at work. When you're an entrepreneur, you're an owner, it is with you 24/7. It is with you 24/7. You eat, breathe, and sleep everything that's going on in that business. And I try to quantify it by saying, there's the good reasons that keep you up at night, and then there's the not so good reasons that keep you up at night, right? Something's going to keep you up at night at some point, and you find ways to be able to deal with that. But the fact that we as business owners, we build the paycheck. Other people collect the check, we build the check, whether we get it or not. We're making sure that our people have what they need, the tools to do their job. The buck stops with us. And so that's a crucial difference when, I have to make my paycheck, but I have to make the paycheck for everybody around. I got to make sure that we're collecting. You got to have every function of the business. My daddy always said there's three parts to this business, right? Especially federal contracting, but anywhere. There's getting the work, there's getting the work done, and then there's getting paid for the work, right?
Oh, yeah.
The three very different functions. And when you're the owner and you're the person that is the buck starts and stops with you, you got to make sure that all three functions are humming. So what are you doing? And you have to figure out what are you doing to make sure that each function is executing well and communicating in between all three. And so it sounds easy sometimes, it ain't. It ain't easy, you know.
Your
And
compassion, your need for how you give back to grow your business, to generate that revenue, you answered that question excellently. And thank you, because someone who is emerging, whether it's a seasoned entrepreneur, you just told all of our stories because we stand in those shoes.
oh yeah,
So let's keep this going. This is good energy and good wisdom that you're sharing. At
absolutely.
what point did you look at your business and consider it a success?
You know, what you were saying before, you know, we're always grinding, right? You know, we're always grinding. We're always trying to get to the next
Hustle,
thing,
hustle,
trying to win
hustle.
the next thing, right? We always moving on to the next thing. We're going after this opportunity, but we're talking about another one over here. So I think I look up every now and then, and it's when you make a plan, you say it out loud, and you're like, I'm hoping in the next 3 years I can execute this. And you're so busy executing that you look up 5 years and you're like, wait a minute, that was my plan two years ago, and I did it. And you don't stop until I think sometimes other people recognize your success in a way. You know what I mean? And I think it's been other times when I've gotten nominated for an award or something. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I can't believe I'm in the running for that. And then when people ask you to do your bio or to update your resume, and you start realizing, oh man, wait, I said I was going to do this and I did it. I said I was going to do this and I did it. So I think at some point you have to realize that is success, right? You're jumping through these flaming hoops that it feels like all the time, and you don't really realize it. And especially women don't stop for a second to acknowledge and realize the successes that we have, because we have to keep going. We got to take care of family. We got to do this. We got to do that. Women have a different grind and a different, selflessness of some of that, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that while I will never define my business as, hey, we're a success and that's it, whatever you think is a success today could be a failure a month or two from now. And so for me, it's constantly, what is that next version of success? What is that next small what is that next small goal that is a success? And then what do they call it? They call it a BHAG. Some people call it a BHAG. Some business coaches call it your big, hairy, audacious goal. What is that next big goal there? And so I try to take myself a little bit 30,000, 50,000 foot out of the business sometimes by going through those executive education classes. I try to do that every 3 or 4 years if possible, just to try to refocus on, okay, what is the plan? Where have I come since my last plan, since my last growth plan? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10? Where do I want to be at the end of the year? You know what I mean? And to try to back out of the everyday and stop, and as Goldman Sachs say, kind of work on the business instead of in the business. You know what I mean? And so I think that's an important thing to be able to step back, because what we call success today, I can't rest on it. I can't rest on anything. Can't let
And
the
I
grass.
think right now, if we can put a pause on that response, you said something key through the Goldman Sachs, because I say this all the time, and even in my own business and to my audience, your team are the ones who are working in the business.
Yes.
But the Iam Tucker, who is the president and CEO, you got to work on the business 5 years out strategically. And that's something you do marvelously. Plan your work and work your plan. And that comes from the history of your family, Robert Tucker. But at the end, you grew up in a place where you stand in abundance mentality, not scarcity. So you've been able to grow ILSI Engineering because of that history in your family. You don't come from a space of scarcity mentality, but abundance. So you've been able to reach back and help a lot of people in
He
the
trained
community.
me for it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It didn't
he
come
trained
from,
you well, madam. He
it ain't
trained you
no,
well.
it ain't no DNA thing. It came from, they trained me. I didn't want to do this.
Mama and daddy.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So
both
I
of
got
them.
one more question, madam, for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What would you change about your business journey if you could go back?
Not a thing. I would take, I believe that, I always say, I believe that regret is a wasted emotion. Because for every failure I've had, for every loss I've had, I've learned from it. And so I thank God for the scars, seen and otherwise, because it builds character, it builds who you are. The days when you just stop and you just like what an awful, awful week, what an awful, awful day. I still reflect on it at the end of the day. I reflect on it at the end of the week. I'm a person, I like to live up here a lot. My wife is who brings me out of that. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and I thank God for her helping me to get out of here sometimes. But the reflection on failures and losses and wins, all of it is an equal thing. I wouldn't change a single thing about any way I've screwed up and just been like, why did I do that like that? Take the good
Wasted
with the bad.
energy.
Wasted energy.
But one of the things that I think we mirror, and imitation is the best form of flattery. As great leaders, what we have done in your 15 plus years, and maybe over my 27 years, in our great leadership, we've done the observation, the listening to those wisdom shared to help us grow. And also, we have taken it on the chin with trials and error, but we never give up. And we're risk takers. And we have been able to be resilient because of that.
Absolutely.
So the journey is different for everybody, but we know how to pick ourselves up. We're never petty. We're not bug passers. And we know even with defeat, we're going to pick ourselves up. And that's
And
what
we
I
can
love
own it.
about
We can
you.
own it when we cause our own defeat too. That's the sign of the right kind of leader, is when you can own your mistakes and admit them and say them out loud. I did this wrong. I'm just letting y'all
Because
know.
it helps you move on. Move
Absolutely.
on.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
I want you to share with my audience, because I was privileged a couple of months ago where you received an award as the DBE Company of the Year. And well deserved, because I know the extraordinary work that you're doing as a minority business owner. Would you please share that? And I'm surprised. I should have asked you to have it in front of you.
I should have brought.
So
I'll send
yeah.
you a picture of it. I just got it on my desk. They
So
engraved our
tell
names.
us about it.
Yeah, no, it
That
was
interview leading up to telling about why you were the 2023 winner of the SBE, the Moriel Award. That video, the way you recognize your team, the reason what makes the lights tick for ILSI Engineering is the way you gave kudos to your team.
That's
Please
true.
share a little bit of that before we come to a close today.
Absolutely. No, thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. That was a huge surprise, a huge honor for us to be the small business of the year. And while, I'm the face that's there all the time, like I said during the interview, like you're talking about, it's like everybody on the team has a role to play. Everybody's a spoke on the wheel. You know what I mean? And it takes every single spoke on the wheel to make it securely turn forward. And so I am so thankful for my team. I'm so thankful for my team during the pandemic, when the going got tough and the world changed overnight. You know who's with you and you know who's not. Some people aren't there anymore, but the majority of them are. And you got to see when the going got tough, they kept going. They were resilient too. And so it's a testament to them. It's a testament to my managers. It's a testament to our communication during that time. And I'm telling you, I couldn't have been more proud of them then. I'm proud of them now. And we're still continuing to try to grow our team with some positions that we have open, with some technical positions. And so I'm looking for more people that understand that. I have a very diverse group, which I'm very proud of. We speak about 4 different languages at my small company. And so we hire people, I think, that some of the large companies sometimes overlook, might not even interview. people that aren't really heard and given a shot from jump. And so I like finding that talent. I like bringing that talent together. I'm not saying we all kumbaya all the time. We bicker, we fight at the table sometimes, but we get the job done. And we always come together. That's one thing. I don't make decisions in a vacuum. It's not a democracy, but we do come to the table and we do have discussions and open and honest discussions about ideas and initiatives and how we're going to move forward on anything. We discuss it, we collaborate, we agree, and then we move forward. And so
Okay.
I'm proud of my team for that. And what a great award to win. It was amazing.
It was the Morial Award. I mean, that's the epitome of saying, wow, this.
Let me tell you this
This
too.
is added to your success.
Thank you. It is amazing that I didn't know that there was 2 other finalists in there. Like I thought there was 10, right? There's 2 other finalists. That's the only secret I've ever seen in New Orleans that's actually kept. Nobody knew who was going to win when we got there. And that was crazy, right? In a city like New Orleans.
Well, hats off to the vision of the Ernest N. Morial Convention Center to create that space for small business owners and that recognition. I was proud of you. I'm one of your biggest raving fans. And so when they called your name, and then my other buddy was also one of the nominees, Angela with Perez, and I will be interviewing her very soon too, coming up very soon on the Hustle Skirt podcast. And to know that the 2 extraordinary women in our community work so well together on projects. So that's made me even proud to know I know these phenomenal women of influence in our community. So before I close out, take a moment, say it in your own way, your contact information, because we've been talking and being engaged for a little bit, and I don't want it to escape your contact information.
Absolutely.
Do that for
so
me.
My email is IAMTUCKER at ILSI Engineering.com. Tucker at ILSI Engineering.com. Our business phone is 504-523-1619. Our website is really bad right now. It's being revamped, but it's ILSIEngineering.com. And if you want to collaborate, if you're another business owner that wants to talk about possibilities, whatever it is, we got to connect with each other, especially as minority business owners. We got to connect with each other. And so thank you for this opportunity.
And one final ask, Iam Tucker, in your credentials that I share with my audience here on the Hustle Skirt podcast, your push, your interest is all about the minority business community and small businesses. Your reach around equity and parity. I want to ask you if you can name or describe one word on equity, what would that be?
One word, just one?
One word that you would share. What does equity means to you? If you had to choose one word, whether it's excess, whether it's resilient, what would your good word be?
Power.
Power. Go ahead, girl. Power. I love it.
It's power.
That works for me.
It's power.
Because so often when we're doing our advocacy in the community, sometimes people get a little twisted, but there is an importance of defining equality and equity, but there's 2 different concepts and thought processes. You and I know we can't get it twisted because we're in this fight every day. Yeah. And so when I think about equity, it really is the basic level of, it's a level amount to giving people what they need to succeed. And so we fight for changes in policy. And with equity, recognizing that some people will come to you and who have not had the opportunities or privilege of others, and therefore may need more support in some areas than others. So we fight for those voices in the community that cannot speak up and speak out. And all the work that we're doing around this amazing group we call the collaborative group, we know that we will make a huge difference for wealth generation for the next emerging and young entrepreneurs. So I thank you, madam, for what you do in the community. Continue success with ILSI Engineering. And as I close out this program today, I just want my audience to know that the Hustle Skirt objective is to empower you to speak up, embrace change in your own vision, mission, and purpose. ILSI may have engineering could have been the vision in her family business, but Iam Tucker, president and CEO, has taken it to a whole nother level with passion. So I want you to make sure on my website to visit www.persistencelane.com, one word, where you can subscribe to the Hustle Skirt podcast, 9 different platforms, just to name a few: iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon FM, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. When you click on this website and see those 9 different platforms, you want to say, click yes, because you're going to want to watch ILSI Engineering interview several times over.
I'm a subscriber. I just want you to know.
All right. I love it, love it, love it. And while you add it, as we value our podcast, please give us a rating on iTunes. Please tell everyone in your community, your network, in the business community, globally, not just in the great city of New Orleans, to please check out this particular interview. You're listening to the Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you economic equity for everyone, every day, with your host, Debra Gould. I love you. Thank you a million times over to support me, and I hope this platform take you even further than what you're doing. Your brand is extraordinary. We all know you throughout the city of New Orleans and state, and you're making your reach known globally. Take care, my friend.
We appreciate you. I love you. Thank you.
I love you back, and I love you more. Bye.